didn't have an easy experience. And you know what the greatest honor I've ever received as a player is? In my 4th year and my 5th year, I was named team captain.
Just before Frizzell got him, and a leaping interception by Woodson, who got a foot down somehow inbounds.
Thomas, touchdown, Wolverine.
Nice call.
Here's a look at Boston and Woodson on the outside. They're just standing there, now they're fighting.
One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
Plant their flag in the middle of the Ohio State field, and the Buckeyes rushed right.
Play fake. McCarthy scanning downfield and throws it high, and Wilson's got it. Bowman Wilson weaving down inside.
There it is. They won't pull that down. Chris, as they say in Ann Arbor, conquering heroes, victors valiant, Michigan, national champion.
Happy Tuesday, Michigan Nation. How are we doing today, Kyle?
Victory Tuesday.
It is a Victory Tuesday, and it was a Victory Saturday, a Victory Sunday.
What I should have asked, how are you, Michael?
I'm doing excellent. Excellent. I was at the game Wednesday.
I have a bunch of questions for you just about how the game looked to you while you were there, but we'll get to that later. But sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was there. It was good. It was a good day, good experience. The golf course was packed. Pioneer was packed.
Classic.
The crowd, very mixed emotions before the game. It seemed people might have been a little bit worried. I was a little bit worried considering I picked them to lose.
Well, let me get out my trusty notebook. I want everyone to first look at what I predicted. 24-17 Michigan. That says Kyle. 24-17 Michigan. This says Mike, which is short for Michael. And it says 34-17 Washington.
Yeah, we didn't even get to 10.
What were you thinking?
Listen, it's okay. Hey, sometimes you're going to have a bad take and a bad feel, and I'm happy to be wrong after that.
I am wrong all the time, so I just had to rub it in. We had to get that out of the way because I was burning for it.
No, it was a good game.
It was.
I didn't see 417 yards of total offense coming from Michigan, especially with Hayes out. But by the end of the game, where I think most people are like, Hayes who?
I think if you go back and watch any of our Wolverine backers, which you should go back and watch if you've missed a few, I am an adamant Justice Haynes supporter after how he has come to Michigan from Alabama, a Nick Saban recruit. But what Michigan didn't do wrong, in my opinion, is that they kept the ball on the ground, and their RB2, can we call him 1A or 1B now? Like, I think he's
1B for sure.
For sure. 100%. They stuck to the game plan. It's such a cliche, and we hear it all the time, especially with my Lions shirt on because of the secondary that played phenomenally against Tampa Bay. But it was next man up, and the next man up rose to the occasion, and it was an amazing performance by Marshall. Well, we have to talk about
because
which
Marshall? There's about 18 of them now.
That doesn't even get us to the game next week, but yeah, for sure, yeah.
Well, Andrew Marsh had a good game. Zach Marshall had a good game. Jordan Marshall had a game.
I think just good game for Jordan is an understatement.
If your name was Marshall or had Marsh in it,
yeah,
you had a good game.
That's what this stands for, I think now.
Yes, I think we're just gonna go with it was a marsh. It was a great game for them on Saturday.
And I think right now we're still running on a high of it, because if you go back and watch last week's Wolverine backers, we were on a low. We were very, very down after that USC game. But this is what it's about. We bound they and I hate to sound like a broken record all the time, but it seemed like they learned and they stuck to a game plan. Because last week we talked about how more might be trying to do a Harbaugh impression. But even though Harbaugh always did a Bo Schembechler impression on the sideline, the 2 yards in a cloud of dust, we just handed the ball off, and our running back and our offensive line and our fullback, Max Brennison, did what they were supposed to do, and they blocked. It was amazing. It was an amazing game to watch. It was a slow start. We were never behind. But the first half was a bit of a slow start, but then the better team ended up winning because it just seemed like, Michigan made the least amount of mistakes, I think, is what it came down to.
Well, I think that game perfectly describes Michigan's season so far, right? At points in the first half, you were
call it the microcosm.
That's the first part of the first half, you were really okay, here we go again, right?
Yep.
Looking like the USC game. Then all of a sudden, the second half hits, and you're like, this is the team we envisioned all year. But you know what? I'll give it to Sherrone Moore in the press conference after. He said that they had tough conversations all week with the coaches, with the players. Everybody kind of challenged each other. And I think they realized it coming out of half, this is our season. We're either going to play. It's sounding like the defense now, even the defense is going to be more collaborative. It's not just going to be what Wink wants to do. It's going to be more of the coaches and players having input. And I think that's what you got. I think that's what you got the second half. They held Washington to -8 yards in the fourth quarter. This is the same team the week before that I think put up almost 600 yards of offense.
Yep.
They held them to 8.
I think if you can learn and adapt and listen in any aspect of life, you become a better whatever you want to be, whether it's person, employee, spouse, parent. And if Wink is open to listening to feedback that comes back, that makes Michigan a better team. There's no evidence against the contrary. In sport, yes, talent can take all those, all that discussion out of it. But I truly do believe that if this coaching staff can listen and learn, we're going to get the same results that we just had on the weekend.
And I think
it was amazing.
One of the craziest things I don't think people realize too is the offensive line, I believe, had a true freshman, redshirt freshman playing. Redshirt freshman at quarterback. Redshirt freshman at receiver. A redshirt defensive back. True freshman defensive back. I think there was a true freshman linebacker. The age and how young this team is and the way they performed, it's a testament to how they're developing. And it should have fans really excited what this team's going to look like next year.
Like in the future. Yes, you're right. Yeah. And I think after the USC game, before the USC game, me and you were like, oh, Underwood's not a true freshman no more. We were stomping our feet and pounding our chest. And that game made him look like a true freshman again. But he looked great. I still have some those are the questions I have for you, because watching it on TV, I had a few questions about what it was actually like to be there, but we'll get to that. But look at those stats. Take that all day.
The Marshall brothers.
Yeah, the non-Marshall brothers. I brought this up to you back when I was a kid, the Seattle Mariners had the non-Martinez brothers. And they were these two sick baseball players with the same last name, not brothers, but they were like, that's what they were known as. I'm going to go forward now with the non-Marshall brothers, because these two played their lights out. This was unbelievable, especially Zach Marshall. I mean, I think we already knew Jordan Marshall had the potential, like 1B, but Zach, we thought Klein was the tight end. We thought Klein was the playmaker. It just seemed every ball that was in the air, every play that was made was by Zach Marshall. I know it's only 5 receptions, but
when you heard Klein and Hassan were going to be out,
yeah,
everybody was like, "Oof."
Uh-oh.
And then all of a sudden, Zach Marshall gets that opportunity. Outstanding.
Ran with it, or he caught with it, then ran.
And Andrew Marsh, 5 for 5 again. I think USC, he was 4 for 4. Now he's 5, or the game before he was 4 for 4. And now this week, 5 for 5, a touchdown. All in all, a good performance by anybody with the name Marsh.
Yeah, Marsh. It's kind of confusing, because I was getting so excited and oh my God, we're playing so good. And it's like, who is that one? Who is it? What's happening? But I truly do believe that our young players, like you said, we have high hopes for the future. Obviously, it's just the next game. But I teased it at the beginning. When you were there, right? So when I was sitting in this exact seat, watching it right here, was Michigan's offense insanely fast-paced? I'm not talking about hurry up. After the ball was snapped, did it just seem like it was? I know Underwood rifles the ball. On TV, I kept yelling at the TV, don't throw it so hard. Don't throw it so hard.
See, I don't think he was.
What does that look like in real life? Because I haven't seen him live yet.
I don't think he was throwing it that hard in that game.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I think they had a game plan. He understood the game plan, and I think it showed. He completed 78% of his passes.
Yeah,
For
totally.
230 yards, and it actually should have been a lot better. If I forget what tight end dropped one, and then Morgan dropped that 4th and 1.
Yep.
I think it was the second quarter.
It was. I have the time over here somewhere.
And there was, if you wanted, there was people sitting behind me who've been involved with the program for a long time. And you could hear just the air come out of them. When they made that call, 4th and 1, everybody thought it was a run play. I think the whole stadium thought it was a run play. I don't think anybody realized Bryce Underwood had the ball and Morgan was coming across.
Yep.
Until he threw that ball and you could see Morgan bobble it.
The camera even panned. Was it Jordan Marshall? That handoff was fake too? It was RPO or whatever? But
because
the
it
camera
looked
even panned to him.
Because it looked like Underwood literally handed it, tucked it, and then when he seen Morgan wide open, and it looked like he was, from how high it was hard to tell. Maybe on TV it looked better. He looked like he was about 7 yards from him.
Yeah. Well, he's a big boy. He takes up a lot of space.
Underwood hit him right in the hands. The ball didn't look hard. And I think Morgan was already looking downfield and realized, like, this is either going for 30 plus or I'm in the end zone.
Yeah. And it was a 4th and 1, so all they needed was 1 yard.
And I think that would have put us up 14. That would have put us up 14-0 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, Underwood had 230 yards and completed 78% of his passes.
21 of 27.
It easily, if he catches that, is around the 250, 260 mark. So, it's a good day for the true freshman. You could see he's starting to understand the RPO.
Yep.
And his decision-making is getting a lot better. Offensive line, of course, looked a little bit shaky at times, but they got the job done.
At times they did. At times they looked good too. But you're right. We can't. I have a hard time saying that you didn't say this, so I don't want to put words in your mouth. But like, yes, they did look shaky at times. But Marshall having the game he had is a lot because of the offensive line. No running back has a day that good in their RB2
No, I'm not saying,
starting. No, I know that's not what you were saying.
I'm just saying it's not to what I think we have become used to.
Yeah.
But I think they are starting to gel. And because they're so young, some of them.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. There's supposed to be another true freshman playing, but he got hurt in training camp in Bobo.
Mm-hmm. Didn't even think about that once.
So you could literally have
blew my mind a little
2 or
bit.
3 redshirt or true freshmen starting on the offensive line with a true freshman quarterback. You have a wide receiver now.
Yeah, we have multiple wide receivers now. Let's not forget about McCulley, right? Yeah.
But I'm talking just age-wise.
Oh, I got you.
There was a number of top recruits in Ann Arbor this weekend too. A lot of top wide receivers, a couple 5-stars, and from what I was hearing I shouldn't say what I said. From what I read and from what I've overheard from things, is they really enjoyed their trip, and they really enjoyed watching Underwood. And
we all
what
did.
surprised them the most was the amount and how balanced Chip Lindsey's turning the offense into.
When I was sitting here, in my glory, watching it by myself, it was amazing. But it was I had the exact same thought process or emotions towards it. It's just like, and one thing I really, really liked is that every time Underwood would get free, he wasn't trying to do too much with his body. Remember we talked about this last week where, people are getting nervous that like, oh, he's going to hurt himself. And we're like, okay, he's a big boy. He can handle himself. He's young. All his joints and muscles still work correctly. But like he gave himself up a few times. Like he slid 3 times.
And I think what's impressive too about him is there was a couple times he could have took off.
Mm-hmm.
But when he seen the receiver, he knew exactly where he was, where the line of scrimmage was, and he let that ball go.
Yeah. He let it go hard too. Like he is.
And that's
strong.
the problem with him too. For defenses, I think they're going to start to see is as he develops in this RPO and understands what they want him to do. If you don't start coming up, you're going to give him a wide open space to run.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, he's just going to throw it. So it's going to leave defenses in very bad situations.
It's a true dual threat.
Yeah.
And I think, losing some football games, like he's going to learn. I think he's learned from the Oklahoma game. Excuse me. And I think him and the coaching staff will learn from the USC game. Sorry, this is for like next season. This is for the season after.
I think we're really going to start to judge him and see what he can do next year.
Yeah.
But I think,
and let's not move past the rest of this year, because this is
and I think
a promising year.
what he looked like today, he's not going to look like in a month.
Right.
That constant development, him becoming more comfortable in the offense. I don't think Sharon Moore is going anywhere. I think they have a very good chance to go on a nice run here until the Ohio State game.
Yep.
We're going to get into next week's game.
Yep.
But I never overlooked that game.
Rivalry game. You can never overlook a rivalry.
And as you know, there's been a number of times
this
where
guy?
you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out. I'm not even going to watch this game when you were younger. And
if
then
you don't want to watch the Michigan State game because you think one of them is better than the other or whichever, you're not a college football fan. Unless, like, say you're, a Pitt fan and they're playing West Virginia and you're going to watch that game instead. But I understand that. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah, but listen, we were all young, doing some chasing, and the girlfriend at the time or whatever wants to grow out, and you're like,
I don't ever think I was. I was the kid at home watching the Michigan State game. But to my detriment.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
So yeah, you just never overlook this game.
No, and it comes down to the basics, because if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it, right? And there's been so many times where Michigan was heavily favored in this game, whether it's in East Lansing, whether it's here or here. You need to make sure that you pay attention to your opponent, because rivalry games are different. People play differently in rivalry games, and it goes across all sport, not just college ball. This is baseball, pro ball, pro football, college basketball, any sport you can imagine. The Asia Cup in cricket was just like 2 weeks ago, and Pakistan and India were playing, and that's like the biggest rivalry in that. From what I understand, I don't want to speak out of term, but like that game was bonkers and amazing to watch. And I don't even know what's really going on. I'm like, oh, this is kind of like baseball, but like they were talking about the rivalry in it. It's sport. And when there is rivalry in sport, anything can happen. Division games in the NFL, you should never overlook. So this is, if you do overlook it, you are a fool, either as a fan, a coach, or a player. So this is a game. They're 2-3 or 3-2. Sorry, I threw my notebook on the ground.
Well, let's do this. Let's end off the Washington.
Yes.
Now, let's
not get ahead
end
of
it off with this. What was the best moment
for me? Well, when the clock hit 0, because it was a win. No.
Let me rephrase that. What was the moment in that game where you're like, we have this game?
The Zach Marshall touchdown catch, because I felt they could have thrown it underneath. Because I didn't even see Zach in the end zone.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at the underneath. I should have it in my notes, but I don't. My apologies. But they had a running back underneath that could have like caught the ball and got down to like the 1 or 2 and hopefully scored. But then it was just like boom, wide open, right? So at that point is when I was like, okay, they're not showing enough mistakes to lose the game, or you could talk about the luck that Michigan's defense had on certain plays. And you got to be good to be lucky. So let me preface that.
Yes.
Before I'm not saying Michigan's defense was just running on pure luck, but you got to be good to be lucky. And there was just some opportunities, like the 3 interceptions, but like they all came at different spots in the game.
2 interceptions and a fumble, and yeah, it came 3 straight drives for Washington.
Yeah, and when Boston goes up, has the ball in his hand, and our defensive player falls to the ground, and then the ball just ends up in his lap. But that was so late in the game, so that I feel like the game was already ours at that point. That wasn't like the TSN turning point for me. But when Zach Marshall caught that ball wide open in the end zone, that's when I truly, like, the weight of the world came off my shoulders at that point.
For me, it was weird. For me, I think when I thought this game was going to be different, and I have the video, the wrong one, was this play.
Catch give me that. Give me it. Right. Look at that. My goodness. I tell you,
What a great obviously the athletes in that shot, in that play, is amazing, but whoever put the camera in that exact spot and whoever was operating that camera, touche.
I think it was just that play, because all year it seems like we had opportunities to sustain drives.
Yes.
And it was drop, drop, drop. And where I was sitting,
and that was a big worry of ours.
And when he made that catch, the guys both next to me, we kind of both looked over at each other, and then we kind of looked up at the TV, then looked down, then looked up at the TV, and we're like, did we really just see what we thought we seen?
Yeah. It was a perfect, it showed what Bryce can do with the ball.
And it gave that.
And then Gus Johnson, I think, put it perfectly. Like, give me that. Like, one-hander grabber, right? Like that is not easy to do. But when you're talking about athletes at this level, these guys,
and
that's what they're showing. They're showing that they are athletes at this level.
Oh, he's gonna be a superstar. His touchdown.
Yeah, amazing.
Do you remember seeing that play?
I do remember seeing that play.
Because you would have seen it by USC the week before.
Right. Yeah, good. Yeah, okay.
Everybody, they ran the play, and I looked at the guy next to me, and we both kind of USC. And then I thought of you. Learn. You got to learn.
Hey.
So
it's true though. Hey,
all in all, we said it was one of those referendum games. I think Moore realized how much this was going to play into, would he be here long term?
Right. You always got to worry about the transfer portal now. Like, not just getting players, but losing them if you don't give them what they want, or coach them correctly.
It was that crossroads game where I think you could already see that frustration growing, and a loss there, it could have boiled over. But the way they won that game, the way they took control, the way the defense played, like, you held a quarterback that had over 400 yards a week before to 209 yards and 20 for 32.
And
no touchdowns, three interceptions.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
and
it was
two of them, the first one and the second one, I couldn't. When an interception happens, because we watch a lot of football, shocker, but my eyes, anyways, I don't want to speak for anybody else. My eyes go right to the receiver, right? Like even just watching TV or watching it live or however else you could watch it. I think those are the only two options. But or like when you're listening to it on the radio, you get the sense of the broadcaster's emotion when it's happening. Both of those interceptions caught me off guard. It was like, You know, like where you have that like 2 second like, oh
Yeah,
yeah!
Sullivan's an exception. You didn't even. You've seen the ball leave his hand, and all of a sudden you just see, is Sullivan taking it the other way?
Yeah, does 23 have the ball?
Like, no, it was good.
No, and that was one of those, like, I've watched so much football in my life that I'm very rarely like surprised at a play. And that play surprised me. I was sitting my 6-year-old son was out here with me during that time of the game. And like I was like, yeah, you know, like I felt like Corey Taylor, like I just started screaming and in jubilance, obviously, but it completely surprised me that he had the ball, like you said. It was perfectly timed too, perfectly timed, because they had just turned the ball over on their second 4th down attempt, or failed 4th down attempt.
That was the one. That was the one negative, really. I think you could take out of the game was they weren't very good on 4th down. Do I have a stat?
It helps though. It really does help.
They did go 1 for 2 on him. Sorry, that's 0 for 2 on 0 for 2.
Yeah, 0 for 2. 0 for 2.
0 for 2 on 4th down, and 6 for 13 on
third
down.
Yeah,
which sounds really bad.
It's almost 50%.
It's a lot better than they have been doing in it. So I'm gonna take it as one of those. It's better than what it was.
Yeah, because it's going up.
So they are growing.
If you win football games or any sport or any game by becoming better. Practice does not make perfect. Okay. Practice makes better. So if practice is making you better and you're trending in the right direction, then you even if you don't win the football game, it's showing progress. And with such a young team, that's what we want to see. That's what we're looking for. And we got away with one. I don't think not the game, but like certain situations in the game.
Because if you look at it, against USC, their average, I think, 3rd down to go, 11.9 yards. This game, 7.5. If you can get that where you're at the 4 to 5 yard mark, even like I would like to see it around 4, because around 4 you leave the running game.
That's for next week.
You leave the RPO. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're gonna get into Mr. Michigan State and see how Michigan's never lost to John L. But we're gonna get into that now.
This isn't John L. It's just another John Smith.
John Smith. Sorry, I was about to say Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, for sure. But
a John Smith. Is that better?
Well, it's their second role with a John Smith. Whatever his middle initial is, it is what it is. But
big win. And if we're gonna start off Michigan State,
yes.
Well, we got to start off Hate Week right with the one, the only, Mr. Bush. You remember this?
That's called passion. That's passion.
So what I didn't remember was that. Do you know Sharon Moore's first game was in that game?
I did not know that. What was his position?
He was the linebackers coach.
Offensive line coach?
Yeah. Sorry, offensive line coach.
Yep.
And he was the one holding Bush back when he was trying to fight half Michigan State's team.
I did not know that.
So
we learned stuff on the Wolverine Backers podcast. We've learned stuff about our team.
So why that's a big deal is, unlike Michigan State's coach, who after last year's game said he really didn't understand the rivalry.
Sharon Moore, weird because he came from Oregon State, so he definitely had he had an interstate back when there was a Pac-10/12/ whatever they are now. Well, Big Ten, most of them. He came from a interstate, a state that had an interstate rivalry within conference. I never understood that statement.
Neither did I, but Moore's understand it. Moore knows it. He said that all year. They bring up the Paul Bunyan Trophy, what it means in Ann Arbor, what it means to the team, what it means to former players. They drill it in these guys. These guys know exactly what they're ready for. Even though they're going to East Lansing, I think Michigan's going to be ready.
Yeah, I think it's not what they're ready for; it's what they're working for. They really need. We might have jumped ahead. We got ahead of ourselves a little bit here about 20 minutes ago, but they know what they're working for, and that's. I'm not going to say that's half the battle because I don't want to be G.I. Joe, but they know it. They know what their rivalry means. Their coaching staff at least does. Their head coach does. And I don't think Jonathan Smith is a dum-dum. I truly don't. I don't think he's a bad football coach. He came from a part of the country to a different, like from West Coast to Midwest. And maybe he doesn't have the recruiting ability just in this area, but I don't think he's not an idiot. Okay, he's a good football coach, and if he has learned, what I always say is like if he has learned from last year, and he's not having the best season, he might not have the best players. But this is where how you underestimate an opponent is when you start to it starts at the top, right? You start underestimating the head coach. He's not an idiot. Something could happen, right? Like he could see something that somebody else doesn't see. Maybe he doesn't understand the rivalry, but maybe he looks at it through a different lens, right? And that's where they really need to make sure, that's where Michigan needs to make sure that they stay on point, that they dial it in, that they stay on par, because he's not dumb. And underestimating your opponent is how you lose anything in life. If you you cannot underestimate the opponent. Even if you're favored by, I believe it's 14 right now is where the line is. And I feel like that's kind of low, right? After Michigan coming off this win and the season that Michigan State's having, and it is a rivalry game, so I understand that brings it back down.
I think if it was in Ann Arbor, it would have been a little bit higher, but because it's
it'd be like 20 and a half, I think, if it was in Ann Arbor.
And this game's traditionally very close, regardless of who the really good team is. Now, there have been the blowouts. 21, I think Michigan won 49-0. The spike in the turf game when, who was that with? Brady Hoke or Rich Rod's team, where Michigan State blew them out. Like, it happens.
It does.
The one thing I really like,
so it's like
one thing I really like that what Moore said in his press conference, he said that this was a big game, and his mind was already focused on going to watch tape and stuff, but he had to stop himself and give himself 24 hours to enjoy the Washington win, but he was going to be already on it Sunday morning. Even the players are like, oh, what are you going to do when are you going to start focusing on Michigan State? I think it was Sullivan. I'm going to go to church tomorrow morning.
I'm going to go to church with my dad and my grandpa tomorrow, and then,
I'll be here.
Yeah, if you don't enjoy the victory, what is the point of sport, right?
No,
but
I get it, but they were very onto it.
Yes, they seem dialed, and that's what I like. I love it.
I think whatever the conversation, and people asked, and Moore pretty much said, like, I'm not going to tell you what the hard conversations we had between coaches and players.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody realized what the season needs to be. And it's brought
no more losses.
Yeah, but I think it's brought him
needs to be
into a certain mindset. Now, if it is where did I put it? And Morgan made fun of this, and when I first seen it, I was actually like, yeah, this is corny. Like, why is he doing this?
Oh, okay.
Until he walked in with that jacket. And I remember saying that.
I want one of those jackets.
And I remember watching Jordan Marshall. If you don't know who that is, that's Jordan Marshall.
Yes.
Walking in with that, with his name on it. And I was like, they're embracing this.
Cool.
And you knew who rode this way to a championship. And I'm not saying we're going to ride a championship, but they probably weren't the most talented team, but they would definitely work their ass off and bust your ass to go to work Pistons.
Yeah, for sure. You know what this is? This is culture. This is culture right here. And you know what? I saw all the memes about,
and they were funny. Don't get me wrong.
They were funny. They were hilarious. If you can't laugh at yourself, then what are you doing here? What are we doing?
And he actually
you know what I mean?
said that. He said that he's seen some of them on his Monday press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And even he said they were funny.
Good. Like I said, like if you cannot have a sense of humor about yourself, if you're going to get butthurt over people, he's a head coach. He's a professional football coach. He gets paid a lot of money to be in the public eye and coach a football team. I think the most embarrassing thing he ever did is when he started swearing after the Penn State game, right? Like,
yeah,
Coach Harbaugh, we fucking love you. That was more embarrassing than him wearing a sick-ass jacket. I want one of those jackets. And I want it to say Sharon. I don't want Kyle on it. Everyone, look at my face. Everyone knows my name is Kyle. I want that sick-ass jacket. I would wear that. I wish I had it right now. I would put it on and I would wear it all the time. That is badass. I love it. I love the culture move. I love that Jordan Marshall came out with one too, and they got to start selling these because take my money.
Yeah, they got to come Saturday night under the lights. They're going to need that going to work.
Big time. But what a great comparison on your behalf. That is such a great comparison to them because it's like it forms those five guys, that nucleus of the going to work Pistons were looking out for each other. And I'm not saying other teams don't look out for each other. Obviously, it's the whole culture, especially of college sports. But this is I like it. Call me a homer all you want. You know what? I'll put that jacket on and I'll put the name Homer on it.
I didn't
days.
I thought it was corny at first, but like I said, when Marshall walked in and he had that, and where I was sitting, I could see him kind of come out of the doors. And I kind of just looked and I could see him walk in through the one door. And I was like, I get it now.
Yeah. Ding.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Maybe that thing I thought was corny, I think that was a part of the hard conversations they had.
Agreed.
Because there was a lot of things that were better, and they need to, and I think they're going to keep getting better, especially next week. Well, this week for Michigan State.
It would seem too that the season is more favorable for Michigan now, up until the last game of the year. So if they can prove that that they are solidifying themselves as a unit, I think that
being a unit.
Here,
get out of here.
What's up,
here's
fellas?
a unit.
Give us 2 minutes.
Oh, good, he's gone. Perfect.
I'll get him on in 2 minutes.
That's called comedic timing. Very well done, Buckeye Steve.
With that ugly background. Let us get into the game fast. Some of these stats. So we got points a game. Like everything points to Michigan here. Everything points to Michigan.
As it should. And I'm not saying that as a cocky homer, because that's literally, I think I'm going to get one of those jackets and just make the name Homer on it. But as it should. the numbers, right? Like analytics don't.
I want in on this.
lie.
I want in on this conversation because I'm 100% in agreement with you guys. When a
what is happening?
When a player comes out, yeah, I thought the same thing. You wear that blue collar jacket, and it was a little bit. I was like, all right, that's kind of douchebaggy,
Cringe,
but,
a little bit.
But cringe is good. That's a good word for it. But when players buy in, that's a completely different story. And what you said was spot on. Culture, man, culture.
Yep.
If you have, that's all that matters, right? It reminded me of kind of when Ryan Day after the Notre Dame game was like, this is a tough team. You know, it kind of sounded to everyone on the outside like, okay, douchebag. But to the team, that's what matters. To the fan base, that's what matters. If you have buy-in from the team and the fan base, that's all that matters, no matter what anyone else says.
It has to start with the team.
And I think
the fans will always buy into winning to winning, right?
Yeah.
So if a coach says something or a coach does something or proves that he's got the team's back and will do anything, and then the team starts buying in, you're absolutely right. It's the culture that he's trying to form. And hey, if we win one more, or we should probably win out until we play that last game of the year. On like we just showed the stats there, right? Like the numbers should be in Michigan's favor for this football game, just because of the past. Like, you know, we learn from the past, and the numbers say that. But it really has to come down to the players buying in. This is a young group too, which we talked about at the beginning of the pod.
I think if I read the stat right, they're the youngest team in the Big Ten. They have a lot of young players, and they are buying in. Like, you could tell in the second half, the way they played, that it was different. It didn't look anything like their first few games.
You know what I heard today, and I'm in total agreement with it. Michigan does a really good job at making everyone else play the way Michigan wants to play the game. And that's exactly what they did against Washington.
It's true.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, you do have to be good to be lucky. And Michigan had a lot of luck in that game. And if they were playing a superior opponent, you know, if the opponent is, forgive me for this, gooder, the luck might not be there. Right. So, and I, you know, I'm a broken record, but if they learn from, even though they didn't lose, if they learn from the situational football that wasn't because they were better at that moment in time, but they got lucky. Why were we lucky, and why weren't we better? Why weren't we better in that moment? We got lucky, so cool, sweet. Like a guy fell on his ass and got an interception because it slipped through Boston's hands, right? Yeah. So in that situation, and that was the second time that happened that game. Hill, earlier in the game, misjudged the ball, and it was Boston who caught the ball right down the middle. It was like a gain for like 42 yards, I believe. And it was like, what were you doing?
I forget who was
better in that situation. Hill was not better. Boston was. Williams was better. So because you have to be better to be lucky.
There was a moment in the first quarter too where the defensive back missed one, and dropped
20.
it. And the only reason he dropped it was because he knew he was going for 7, and he was already 3 yards downfield.
Yep.
When that ball hit his hands.
Yep. He's a young man too. We're talking about their youth.
It went back
from that.
But when you
next time that happens, catch the football.
When you hold a team like Washington's offense, which seems pretty good, at least going into the game seemed pretty good, to minus 8 yards in the fourth quarter in a game that both teams had to win, you played the way you should have played. Like I don't remember the last time I've seen a team held to minus 8 yards in a quarter.
It's a crazy stat. Ohio probably did it when Terrell Pryor played Michigan, but you know, let's not bring that up.
Oh, the Brady Hoke days? It's very possible.
I was at that game when they were their old.
A couple of those games where we did OHIO around the stadium.
Oh, super dupes.
It was great.
I know you guys weren't doing it last game.
That's well, yeah, we were. It was just at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm not. Hey, I don't want to. I'm getting.
When you go in as a
I'm getting real
23-point
nervous.
favorite, when you go in as a 23-point favorite, they already had the celebration going before the game.
As
Yeah,
I would have too in the same
champagne bottles before the game.
I want
to point this out. I made. You know what? I for the first time I saw us in a YouTube short, the three of us. When we were talking about your hat, right? I still think your hat looks great. It's just the wrong colors. It's the wrong, blah, blah, blah.
Appreciate you.
My mom,
you gotta get something made for yourselves.
My mom brought me this hat. She said she bought me this hat when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
So this hat is 37 years old. Okay. There's no logos on it. There's no tag in it. There might have been a pom-pom on it. And I was like,
someone made that. Yeah.
Okay, so here.
Yeah. I think no, I mean like it wasn't purchased.
Knitted it.
Yeah, it was.
It was like knitted. Yeah,
so
probably. My aunt might have done it, but
Michigan's first rivalry game. Michigan State. I think we're all pretty convinced Michigan should win this game, but it is a rivalry game, and we've seen last year what happens in those kind of games. If you don't take it the way you should. But I think this game has so much hatred built into it now that it kind of forces teams to. You know what this game has the feeling for? And Steve's old enough to remember this. Back in the day, Michigan, Ohio State, when you wouldn't even go to the other team stadium because they would throw pee on you or they would throw batteries at you.
Yep.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago at Ohio State that it was like that.
Yeah. I've never been to a game at Columbus. And
this early 2000s, it's not like that anymore. But in the early 2000s, it was pretty bad.
But here's a quick question for the rivalry games
now.
Yeah,
this game like that now.
The current era of college football could also have changed that, like transfer portal. Like a lot of these guys, they don't go to high school 2 miles outside of East Lansing, knowing they're going to be a Spartan their whole life and then play 5 years as a redshirt freshman for the Spartans to finally beat Michigan in their junior or their senior year, right? Like things are different. And that's where the culture comes in. And it brings it back to those blue collar jackets, which you were, cringy at first, but if there's culture there, and like I said earlier, I think if we underestimate Jonathan Smith or if we underestimate the Spartans, that's how Michigan loses this football game. It's in East Lansing. Let's not forget that fact. That's huge.
Everything I've seen from Moore so far, at least after his press conference on Monday, he's emphasizing how big of a game this is. Like he said that records don't matter, and it doesn't in this game. And you got to remember too, it's what makes this game the hatred. It's always the arrogance of Michigan.
No.
Versus the victims of Michigan State. It doesn't matter what it is, which way it goes. It always comes down to that Michigan's the arrogant assholes, and Michigan State's always the ones who have to put up with them. Well, it makes the fans hate each other. It makes the players hate each other. Like when you have team captains at Michigan talking about it, taking off their belts, talking about how they're going to whip them come that game. At a golf tournament in the summer, all Jonathan Smith has to do is put that up in the locker room for the last 6 months.
It's true.
Or 4 months. At a golf tournament, there was no respect. It's always the Michigan State, we don't get the respect. Even during the D'Antonio years, when they were winning most of the games, D'Antonio made a career of playing that they don't respect us, they don't think we're any good, and he turned it into them winning games. But during his era, they probably had better teams. There was other coaches who did that for Michigan State who used the same thing to beat Michigan teams that were better.
That's true.
I don't think Jonathan Smith understands that enough to be able to do this, to take this Michigan State team where I don't think the offensive line's that good. I don't think the defensive line's that good. They don't get to the quarterback. They don't really stop the run to beat this team. If this was the Antonio coach team, maybe or probably it could be a very close game. But Jonathan Smith, I don't think understands this. And I think a lot of his players, like he doesn't, I don't think he wants to be there anymore. I think he has a regret of going to Michigan State, especially after the Washington job opened up a few weeks later. He wants to be back on the coast where he's comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think his checking account isn't worried that he came to Michigan State. I don't think anyone at that level of coaching is worried about it. Like, yeah, if you want to talk about your legacy as a coach or whatever, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, Joe Namath played for the Los Angeles Rams. Does anyone remember that? No, not really.
But I'm just saying, I think there's coaches where you go somewhere and you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah, for sure. Buckeye Steve, I have a question for you.
What up? Shoot.
So you got no game this weekend, right? It's another one that you're just chilling. Is there?
They haven't had a game all season.
We're talking about not overestimating our opponents. Are you in any way worried about playing Penn State?
A little bit, yeah, because it's like a animal backed up into a corner.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else left, right? So why?
The players, especially, right? Like
correct.
Whoever the interim is, I don't even know. I should have done that research, but
playing for a coach that's working his way up and trying to get to the next level. You see that a lot where teams galvanize behind a coach that's the interim coach, and then they make it a tough choice. Should we hire this guy? Should we?
Or he goes somewhere else and then gets a job, and then
correct. And
Bill O'Brien's a great example of that.
Coach Ogeron was kind of a good example of that too at USC. So yeah, I mean, they still have talent. They still have good players. They're not an 0-4, a typical 0-4 in the Big Ten team.
This was a team that was expected to compete with Ohio State for
correct.
And I
not
asked,
just the Big Ten championship, but like the national championship.
I asked somebody the same question who's a Buckeye fan, and I think his response was they actually got rid of the two things people said weren't that good. Franklin and
true.
Growler.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it like that until I was like, yeah, Franklin was always the guy who can win the big game. So when you would go into these games, you're like, Franklin's going to do something. And I don't think, well, at least I didn't think Drew Aller was that good. In the biggest moments, he always either made a mistake if he did play good or he didn't show up.
Yeah, he gave the other team the ball when we need you the most. You give the other team the ball.
Right.
Like from the first time he started, how many of those, it would have been 3 years ago, in the Michigan-Ohio State game, 89 yards passing, 102 yards passing, missing open guys.
I don't blame too much of that on him from the years past, but this year,
but what I'm saying, it seems like it's always been in the biggest games. He either doesn't show up or he has those 2 or 3 moments where you're like, you just can't have those. Here's another question. Who are you rooting? Are you going to root for Michigan until we play Ohio State? That way you can have a chance at ending the Wolverines' playoff dreams. Or do you want them to lose every week and that game mean nothing? And just whatever happens, happens.
That game will never mean nothing. I'm going to throw that out there first.
I'm going to root for Sparty for sure.
Oh. See, I thought Ohio State fans would want Michigan to get there with 2 losses.
We talked about this pre-show, and
I used to. Not anymore.
I would never, ever root for Ohio State to win a football game. I mean, maybe it's situationally, like then you start thinking about, okay, maybe this would work. But in my soul, in my core, being raised as a Michigan fan, having season tickets my whole childhood, going to the Big House, it would be very hard for me to do so. So I understand your answer because I respect your answer, because I probably say the exact same thing.
And if I did happen to root for Michigan, next time I went over to my dad's house, I might leave without my nutsack.
I'm not going to lie.
That's the answer. I love it. I love it.
I rooted for Ohio State a couple
That's
times.
called passion, baby. That's called passion.
Mostly because
college football. That's what the Backers Podcast Network's all about.
I rooted for Ohio State a couple times, but it's mostly because when they're playing an SEC team, I just want to see the Big Ten do good. So I do.
Yeah,
I get that.
I will. I do in that circumstance. In fact, you know, it was weird for me because I was watching USC and Michigan play. And in those circumstances, normally I'm like, yeah, I want Michigan to win. So it's hard for me to actually root for USC because they're in the Big Ten now. Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, wait. All right, never mind. I want USC to win. Go ahead, score.
Yeah, no, exactly. There was a few times I had to remind myself because Michigan literally 2 years ago played Washington for the national championship.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's a Big Ten game. I was like, wait, what? But like, you know, evolution of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wasn't going to get on the podcast, and then I heard you guys talking about the jacket, and I was like, this is excellent, man. That was a great conversation and a great take. I loved it. I loved every minute of that.
You think about it, it became such a big thing on the internet, right? Leading up to that game, everybody just kept showing him in a firefighter uniform, him in a doctor's uniform, and it was, it's because you stink, or it's you're burning the program down, or you're doing something, right? And then when I watched Jordan Marshall walk into the press conference, I was like, it's like the light went off. I was like, I get it.
Yep.
And what they just did makes sense now.
For sure.
Because when he wouldn't talk about the hard conversations, I was like, these conversations were about these guys not working or not doing what they had to do to win games.
Yeah. That reminds me. Did you see the one where he took off the jacket and he had like lingerie underneath it?
No, I didn't see that one.
Dude, it was hilarious. It was obviously AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was.
No, some of them are. Some of
I just
them
pulled
are
a Lamar
crazy.
Jackson and had to piss real bad.
Yeah, you good.
What are we talking about? What are you saying?
You got Penn State the week after, right?
Yes.
The week after this, yeah.
Because I don't think there's not too many big games this weekend for
Penn State at home. Yeah. It'd be interesting to
Penn
see
State in the shoe. So that was going to be like when I asked that question, I think it would have been a better and more relevant question if it was in Happy Valley.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
But
like you said, backed up into a corner, you know, it would be it's the ultimate setup for the ultimate upset.
Correct.
But
and how
that's called lyricism. But that was I truly don't believe it's going to happen, but I wanted to know what, you know, I'll be rooting for Penn State, but I don't know what, like, you know, I don't think you have anything to worry about in that game.
No, I really don't.
Said, it's like having a wild animal backed into a corner. You never know what they'll do. Because like you said, the talent is there. The talent's there. And like Mike said, they got rid of probably their biggest problem.
The biggest mistakes are gone. So maybe. I don't know who their quarterback is. I didn't even watch. So I'm not really sure. I didn't watch the Iowa Penn State game, which
Iowa Penn State is usually a great game to watch. Like first, like, you know, a good, I'd say classic Big Ten. I know Penn State's not, you know, classic Big Ten, but we're going back to 95 when they joined. So pretty classic.
Was that a night
game? I don't know.
No idea.
I have no idea. All I know is there was a lot of rushing and zero passing. I think there was like 89 yards.
In Penn State's defense, going to that stadium at night.
Oh, yeah, it's hard.
It's a different animal.
It is.
There's been so many top 10 teams that have gone into there and walked out where they're like, what just happened?
We all know that Iowa paints the visitors' locker room pink, right? And Penn State's original colors were pink and black. So, you know, it could have brought up some emotion. That's like talking like when TVs were still black and white, but those were Penn State's original colors. Look it up. I swear I read it in a book.
Why wouldn't you keep that? I've heard that, and I want to see those uniforms.
Just bring them back for one game.
Digitally enhance them. Yeah.
The retro uniforms that could be in the NFL. I would love to see that.
Yeah, but it could be also breast cancer awareness too.
Boom. That's called marketing, Buckeye Steve.
Made for TV.
That's how you market stuff.
For TV.
All right, let's do some predictions. Let's do some score predictions before we get out of here.
Okay, let's start. Let's do one other Big Ten game.
Okay, all right.
Well, let me see if there's even a Big Ten game I want to.
Hey, you want to start? Let's start with this. Who meets in the Big Ten championship game?
Oh, who does Indiana have left is the key. I don't think they have anybody.
Good point.
They play.
I am not
Penn State
prepared.
at Penn State.
I am, as someone who has studied journalism, I am not prepared to answer that question. I truly am not. Like, there's so many variables that go into that, like divisions being different.
Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
There's 5 games.
3-1 teams right now.
Okay, well, that would probably quickly
and 2
eliminate
4-0 teams.
If I had to say, I'm going to go Ohio State and
Ohio State is obviously one of the answers.
Ohio State and Indiana, just because Indiana doesn't play anybody left, and Kirk Cignetti's already proven he's too good of a coach to lose one of those upset games. And mostly because I think he enjoys scoring 75 points on these teams. Like, he uses every game to prove a point.
See, if I didn't know you were talking about Indiana, I'd think you'd be talking about Ohio State, because that's what Ohio State does to teams. Well, that would probably be a good game.
I don't know how.
I think Ohio it's going State's to be a good game. I think that will be the 2.
I think it's going to be the 2. I think Ohio State beats them too.
Okay, so
but I think
I point this out.
I think that's the game. I think that's the game everybody wants to see.
I'm going to grab my pink pen, and this will now be the 3rd time Michael has not picked Michigan to win a football game. So, because if we're insinuating that Ohio State is in the Big Ten championship game, that means that Michael already thinks that Ohio will beat Michigan.
That's not true.
I'm just writing.
That's not true. They can still get in. They could still get in as one loss.
No, it's true. You don't cut in here, Steve. This is our podcast.
See, now I don't got to put up with them. Now I got the power of the button.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can just kick you off.
Still signing and dating this October 20th.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kyle.
Yeah, there we go. Nice work.
He's got the ultimate power. You still got to put up with me.
That's cool. I like it. You're like only the second Buckeye fan I ever liked.
Okay, so we got that. Here's the game we're gonna pick.
Okay, but LSU, Indiana, Ohio State is the answer to your question.
LSU, now that I've had like a couple minutes. A&M. In Death Valley, and Kelly coming off another loss. The fan base already kind of wants him gone. Does LSU upset, what are they ranked? The number 3 team and get a big win?
No way. They don't have the offense to do it.
I'm going to never underestimate an LSU team, though. But you are right. The numbers don't lie, but that's why we play the game, right? That, like we can predict stuff all we want. If we could predict wins, we'd all be millionaires and there'd be no betting apps.
I think this is the game I would go LSU.
The odds are definitely not in the favor of LSU.
I think this is the game I would go LSU win this game.
This isn't Jimbo Fisher's Texas A&M team. It's Mike Elko, and he's a different level coach. He's built Duke, for goodness sakes, into being a strong team. I don't even think it's close, to be honest with you. I think Texas A&M.
See, I think this is one of those games where if the players really want Kelly there, they're going to show up.
What do you mean? He speaks with that cool new accent down there. He loves it.
It's going to be one of those. Why didn't they look like this all year for LSU? Because if they don't show up,
Mike has LSU beats A&M. Steve has A&M destroys LSU.
Absolutely. Boat races them.
I got LSU in a close game.
Boat race. I like that.
Yeah, boat race.
It's like
because if LSU gets boat raced,
you know what? I'll write it down too.
Mr. Kelly and Franklin.
I'll be changing my picks.
I got it.
Mr. Kelly and Franklin are going to be standing next to each other on the unemployment line.
I think A&M wins, but I don't think it's going to be trucked or boat raced or any other term you want to say. But like, are we talking like a double
42 to 13?
42 to 13?
Yes.
Ooh, that is boat raced.
I'm going to say 35-21, which sounds still pretty.
That's probably a little bit better.
Still pretty boat raced, but like there could be some garbage points because like LSU could be up 35-7. Or sorry, A&M. I'm going A&M though too. By the way, I should have said that.
38-31
because I'm hungry.
38-31 LSU.
I like that pick.
Great.
I just think it's wrong.
Bop.
There we go. There we go.
To the big,
and I wrote
the big game
on one of them. Starving.
The big game. I'm going to cover myself up. The battle of the true freshman versus Aiden Childs, which I really like. Michigan State quarterback. I just think he's in a bad situation. I think he's in a bad situation. If he hits the transfer market, the team that gets him, if he goes to the right one, oof. Like a perfect fit for him, Texas.
Well, they're good. They're looking for a quarterback, I would assume, pretty soon.
And the only reason I say that is if you look at some of these teams that have done that kind of move, Ohio State 2 years ago,
Will Howard,
even before the transfer portal, Alabama going to a true freshman and leaving Jalen Hurst on the bench, and then starting him the next year.
Mm-hmm.
If your guy doesn't got it,
I see him as a Miami type quarterback.
Going to Miami for their second year of transfer portal. Because Carson Beck's done after this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miami loves the transfer portal quarterbacks.
It's such a Miami move. You're
Texas
so right.
I got to check their quarterback room. I think Texas might have to go after a quarterback.
I don't know. I'm sure they have one in the wings.
Because if you miss the playoffs this year for Texas, and Archie doesn't look like the rest of the Manning brothers, uncles, you put all those eggs in that one basket, you're going to have to fix that fast. You don't got time for another freshman to come in and develop or play right away.
In that scenario does prove that there is, all the purists and college football purists are like, not all, but like in this new era of college football, it doesn't take a long time to rebuild a program.
No.
You could find somebody, even if it's not Childs that goes to Texas, somebody's going to go there. Someone's going to go there, right? Like with the team set up the way it is. Okay,
so what are we picking? I was just thinking the same thing.
Okay, so let's go. Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan.
Oh, I got Michigan easy. Yeah. Was that 14-point spread you said?
It's 14 as of like.
I think it opened at 14.
As of an hour and 15 minutes ago. Things can change. I don't know.
Score, Stevie. Score.
Oh, score. Who do you have that's injured? Is anyone injured still?
Well, Haynes won't be 100%.
The one offensive lineman's gone. I don't think both tight ends might be back. That's the problem with college. It's always questionable. And then Saturday, 6 hours before the game, they finally released the health report.
I don't think this one will be close either. I like Childs, but I don't think that he has any supporting cast. So what he does is going to be negligible. You know, he'll have a player here and there, but it'll cause turnovers because he doesn't have anything else. He doesn't have receivers. He doesn't have a running back. He doesn't have an offensive line. The defense is mid.
I think the biggest problem Michigan State's going to have is they're 11th in rush defense in the Big Ten, and Michigan comes in ranked 4th in rushing yards.
Oh, yeah.
Even if Eden Childs wants to be on the field, I think it's just going to be death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's like Steve said before. What Michigan's really good at is trying to get teams to play their style. And if they get Michigan State into that type of game,
it's over.
With their defense, they don't get to the quarterback. If they have to start bringing guys up and Bryce Underwood keeps developing with that RPO, there's going to be guys wide open.
I just think that will happen. I can guarantee what you just said is going to happen. But what we have to keep in mind is this is Michigan State. The lights will be bright for both teams. And I think the USC game did tell us that Bryce Underwood is still a true freshman. So yes. Michigan wins. I think they cover the spread, but I don't think it's going to be this amazing, like 41-14 style of game. I really don't. I think Michigan State will have their moments. Underwood might have his like down moments because it's his first rivalry game as the quarterback of Michigan, right?
Yeah, but the one difference
it's in East Lansing.
The one difference for Underwood, he played in the middle between these two schools. He grew up in this.
He understands the rivalry.
He understands what this is about. It's not like you went out and got a quarterback from
Texas
or West Virginia, where he's coming in as an 18-year-old, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is the rivalry. This is what it means." Like he grew up in this.
Michigan just hires their coaches from West Virginia and goes 3-9 in their first year.
Oh, those were the days.
And the good thing for Underwood, not only is Michigan State not good at stopping the run, they don't stop the pass either, considering they're ranked 17th. So
and Michigan's all right.
If Hayes is back in Marshall, this is going to be like a 35-10.
I got 27-10.
I was going to say 35-14. And I know but I think there'll be some late Michigan touch. I think it'll be closer around halftime, but Michigan will run away with it.
Seeing some of the comments too this week kind of makes you lean that way. When you have like Childs, and I forget the wide receiver that came out and said like, well, we're really happy we played a little bit better, or we played hard during the Indiana game instead of the UCLA game, but you still lost by 30 points. That's like saying, well, I'm happy I don't poop the bed anymore, but I still pee it.
It sucks to shit the bed, man.
Like you played a little bit harder, but you still had the same outcome.
Steve, what did you say the score was going to be? 27-10?
Yep.
Like I don't think I even think the players are starting to give up on this.
Mike, what'd you say the score was going to be?
35-10, Michigan.
Oh, me and you are always right there. So this is that's a blowout. All those scores. I mean, 27-10 doesn't seem like it, but like say State gets a garbage time field goal, 27-7 is still. Would you say it a boat race? What'd you call it earlier?
A boat race, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool.
He's gonna get that. He's gonna show up next week with a shirt.
Yeah.
Michigan
Boat race
Michigan
backers.
State.
Boat race backers.
Well, we're gonna find out 7:30 under the lights in East Lansing.
That's another
be there?
story I'm eating on here. I'm just so hungry. It's at night too. This is a primetime game, so the lights will even be even brighter, both figuratively and literally.
No, I think Moore's got his guys ready. I think they got their work jackets on. I still can't believe somebody asked
Blue collar jackets.
Did you see that, Steve?
Someone asked what?
More about if he's seen the different clips from his work jacket.
Oh yeah, that's because
And
they
he
were
was like-
talking about the lingerie one, man.
He was like, "Yeah,
Classic.
I've seen a few of them. They're pretty funny, actually." I was like,
That
Jesus.
comes down to like, what do you think of this? As the head coach of Michigan or Ohio State, how much social media do you consume
Yeah,
about yourself?
None.
You know, like I'm sure
Little.
Day has taken it on the chin the last couple of years after the Michigan games, and more. I don't think I've ever seen a more embarrassing head coach situation.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think
after Michigan beat Penn State last year, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I think they had both universities seeing how how tight everything is
They
at
have thick
these
skin. They're
universities.
football coaches.
They have people who are screening these things and getting rid of stuff that they either don't need to
but
see
the internet will always find you.
or don't want to see. I don't even think half of these guys go on it.
Right. I don't think so
They
either.
probably
But there are certain, like Lane Kiffin has a very big presence on social media, right? And I'm not saying everyone's Lane Kiffin, obviously. But
Like, I don't think Ryan Day would have a big presence on social media. I don't think Ryan Day would even be on social media.
it's too
Like,
big.
he doesn't-
Beard.
He doesn't seem like that. Same thing with Moore. Like, I don't see Moore being on social media. Or a guy like
Ryan
Tom-
Day's beard dye right here. Alkalide Life black paint. There it is, right there. It's shiny.
Yeah, I don't think they
That's my
see
prop
too
for the
much.
day.
Unless somebody else tells them, I don't think these guys are following along with any of this stuff.
Well, like I said, they have thick skin. It was just a question because, you know, I'm fairly opinionated about sports on social media, and like some people give it back to me pretty good. And there's sometimes where like, ooh, that cuts like a knife. But
oh yeah,
it is
someone
what it
always
is.
finds a way to cut like a knife for sure.
I'm also not like a millionaire, so that'd be my response to anything. Like, how much? Like, is your house paid off? What's your mortgage at? Mine's zero.
Oh, the Deion
good.
Sanders, didn't he say something about that when somebody said something about his kid?
You know what? I got that from he's a singer. He sings like never mind. I'll figure it out. But someone chirped him, and his like response to it on Twitter was like, "I got no mortgage." What a great chirp! Like, way to respond, man.
Is your house paid off? I love
Mine
that.
is. Anyways,
But it's that time.
it is.
We're gonna find out late Saturday. Thank God I'm not going to that game.
I
Thank
think it's
God.
best for everyone.
You should go to that game. Let's go to it.
I'm not driving 2 hours to East Lansing to come
Why
home
not?
at. I'm going to the
morning.
Purdue game, and I just found out that's at 7:30. So that's going to be
Okay.
another late night.
My house isn't paid off, so I can't afford to go to the Michigan State game.
But anyways, how we end the show every week, and Steve's here, and I've heard him do this before. he also spells Ohio State wrong.